I feel so much at home here today coming from Finland because it's so cold. Ladies and gentlemen, at this stage in the rally there's not a lot more to add, so let me just share a personal reflection. I was here inside the United Nations some 10 years ago attending Agenda Item 7 debate on in the Human Rights Council, where nations after nations stood up demonizing, accusing Israel. Let me tell you, it was a bizarre experience. As I was together with a German friend, he suddenly turned to me and he said, "This is the first time ever that I have a sense of what it must have felt like living in Germany in the 1930s. With a conference room full of intelligent people making the most amazing accusations, accusing the Jewish people for all the problems in the world." Today, the only Jewish state in the world, the state of Israel, and only Israel is being denounced in the same way through 7 biased reports inside this respectable building here in Geneva, while the real criminals of the world seem to have immunity. Sadly, over the years, this has become the new normal at the UN Human Rights Council. Few of us seem to react anymore, but I'm glad that there's such a big crowd here today standing up and reacting. Ladies and gentlemen, we cannot let Israel bashing become the new normal at the United Nations. We have to make the UN accountable to its own charter and to its own standards. Someone has to call out the elephant in the room. Israel is not the problem in the world, but rather the solution to so many of our daily problems. Today, Israeli technology and innovations are saving lives around the world. And as Richard Kemp said earlier today, this should be a day to give Israel the Nobel Peace Prize, not to accuse it for anything else. Israel is an example to all the other nations in the region when it comes to respect to democracy, human rights, and fundamental freedoms. To whom do we go in Europe when we are facing terror attacks? We call Jerusalem. And Israel, they come to our help in solidarity. Israel has made Europe a more secure place in the last few years. On behalf of the people here in Europe, we want to say, thank you, Israel. Israel should not be criticized. Israel should be commended inside the United Nations building today. Now we call on all the European member countries in the Human Rights Council to stand in solidarity with Israel. We call on Austria, we call on Bulgaria, we call on Denmark, we call on Italy, we call on Croatia, we call on Hungary, we call on Iceland, we call on Slovakia, we call on Spain, we call on the United Kingdom to stand in solidarity with Israel. We cannot rush to Israel when we face our own terror attacks and then the next day single them out here at the Human Rights Council, when they themselves defend the civilian population against terror attacks from groups like Hamas and Islamic Jihad. In recent months, many European leaders have come out strongly to denounce the rise of anti-Semitism in Europe. Now it is equally important for the same leaders to come out just as strongly in denouncing Israel hatred here at the UN Human Rights Council. Singling out only one nation, which happened to be the only Jewish state in the world, for public scrutiny and criticism is nothing short of anti-Semitism. This will have to stop. The United Nations need a coherent strategy against anti-Semitism, which includes equal rights for the people of Israel. It is time for the UN Human Rights Council to stop encouraging terrorists and instead support peace, democracy, and human rights. We have gathered here today in Geneva from many nations, myself coming all the way from Helsinki, Finland, to say one thing and one thing only. Let it be said loud and clear, enough is enough. The time has come to say no to anti-Semitism. The time has come to renounce Israel bashing at the United Nations. The time has come to delete agenda item number 7 at the UN Human Rights Council. Thank you.